cats are stoic by nature, right? They're predators, but they're also prey. And I think we spoke about this in the last episode. They're predators and prey. And we did speak about cats being 95.6% tiger. And so those instincts are still very much there, have those same instincts. And so that's why it's so important for us to take care of our cat, like just know as much as we can and feed them the best that we can, because our cats will mask their pain instinctively.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pure Positivity. We're so incredibly lucky today because we get the Two Crazy Cat Ladies Part 2. We have our usual, myself, Bobby. We have my beautiful wife, Eden.
Hello.
Rosa is right over here. Opal's on my left. But the star of the show, everybody, as we always know, Carlito! Yeah, welcome, everybody. Yeah.
Boy.
He's kind of singing with a little bit of a heavy heart this week. We were talking a little bit last time about our beautiful family cat, Eve. She was transitioning well to raw, and we're gonna try not to get too emotional about it, but she unfortunately took a turn for the worse, and she passed away this last week at only 7 years old. It's just, it's really tragic. And so it's just kind of put a spotlight on why we do what we do, because we don't want anybody else out there to ever go through what we're going through right now. Again, you know, we've lost too many pets prematurely. And Jay and Adrian, thank you guys for being on today. I know we talked a little bit about what happened, and I would love to maybe unpack a little bit of some of this stuff with you, because it's so hard, you know, when you go through it every time. It doesn't make it any easier.
No, it never does. It's never long enough to have our pets with us. You know, even when they do live a super long, awesome, you know, life, it never feels like enough, right? Because their lifespan is so much shorter than ours. But when they pass really young, it just, and especially suddenly, it just makes it.
Oh, it's so tough.
Yeah, a lot.
One of the things that we find comfort in is that all of our cats that we've had that have passed have been some of our greatest teachers.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Eve is leaving a legacy of helping us all learn more together. The fact that she was so young, and I know that, you know, she passed way too young, but I think
in our minds, right? Like in the
right.
human mind, it's way too young. But they all come here for a reason. In our opinion, they all come here for a reason, and with a soul contract, and with a lesson or many, you know, many lessons to teach us. Yeah, I mean, it breaks our hearts for you guys. That you just went through that in this past week since we spoke last. But yeah, I mean, do take with you, or do know that there's, you know, that lesson that she's leaving behind is for a reason, and she knows it, and it's going to help more cats moving forward too.
Yeah, it kind of already has, actually. I mean, just the way that you said that was perfect, because, well, first of all, thank you, because it means a lot. I can tell your compassion. It means more than you know. But yeah, her legacy is already kind of forming, because her owner is only 18 years old. So they did the best they could. It's not that they're bad people. They did exactly what everybody else does. What we did with our cats, what, you know, from your story, what you guys did, where you do the best you can. You feed them the cat food, because it's cat food, and it's all normalized to feed the kibble, and maybe skip a vet visit here or there, because a cat's a cat. They can handle it, right? You know, but he's already mentioned to us after, you know, and we racked our brains because we were worried that he was going to like place blame, you know, and we were caring for the cat and transitioning her, and she was doing really well, but he actually did not place blame at all, and is trying to move forward with another cat and do it right from the beginning.
He even has interest in being a vet tech. And
Yeah.
so we're being like, well, this is firsthand experience.
What
Why
really,
people become vet techs. And what's happening today is nothing that when you might learn 10 years ago or a few years ago, so we're always learning and growing.
Yeah.
And so I think you'll always remember Evie and
Yeah.
this story and what we did and how we've come into each other's lives.
Yeah, she'll have a legacy to live on. Wow, that's beautiful.
That's really evolved of him as at 18 to be able to do that. And I kind of feel like, I mean, let's just talk about the elephant in the room in a way. I feel like there is so much fear around raw feeding. And, Edie's story is like, wow, she was doing so well transitioning. I think it reminded me so much of, a lot of humans when they're getting ready to go. They have this vibrant moment or moments before it's time. And I think with our cats, a human can be very ill with something and then they're, working towards being healthier. And maybe even for their family, they have this beautiful, vibrant time and then they're gone, just like that. And that's what her story kind of reminds me of. We humans would be like, well, what happened, right? Like she was doing so well. And I think, that's all going to be something that, I don't know, I feel like there's so much that when we're talking about our cats, that yes, it's a big reminder that things can change so quickly with cats, that they don't show us when they're in pain. We don't necessarily know unless we're doing all the testing, where all their levels are at. So I feel like our kids are being feisty right now.
I thought that was wine time or something in the dinner,
It is wine time.
It is. There you go.
And it's funny that you say that. It's exactly what she was doing though. Like you're not even you're touching on everything that she was doing, because we're also, in the mood of trying to be grateful, of trying to be happy that we got to see her for those last couple months being a cat. She was out, playing with my cat, our cat, she was doing things like a normal cat does, being feisty and very talkative. Like you said, though, you don't know, because a cat can be hiding something for years. It's just what they do.
Yeah, and that's something that we try to get across to cat parents all the time, is that, cats are stoic by nature, right? So, yes, they're predators, but they're also prey. And I think we spoke about this in the last episode, I can't remember, but they're predators and prey. And we did speak about cats being 95.6% tiger, right? And so those instincts are still very much there, even if they have never actually been in the wild or been feral outside or anything like that. They have those same instincts. And so that's why it's so important for us to take care of our cat, just know as much as we can, and feed them the best that we can, because our cats will mask their pain instinctively, right? So if in the wild, if they show any kind of weakness, they are, as prey, they are set up. So we've seen this for 20 something years as cat parents, right? Where it's like, oh, well, we skipped, especially when it comes to our senior kitties, right? Like we've skipped, maybe a couple years and haven't taken them to the vet, but we just didn't want to put them through that or whatnot. And then we get them to the vet and their levels, now their kidney levels are way off the charts. And we're like, how did that happen? 2 years ago it was fine, but they can really decline fast and you have no idea, because they're still eating fine, they're still playing, they're still, using the litter box just fine. So it's really important that we are proactive. That's the word I'm looking for. It's really important that we're proactive with our cats, because they don't show us, not even like dogs do, right? They don't show us their pain until oftentimes, especially with these chronic, degenerative diseases, they don't show us until it's escalated.
Yeah, and I mean, she had CKD, which is chronic kidney disease. This is a real problem. Why is it it's always the kidneys with these cats? Can you embellish on that a little bit and let people know that moisture, heat, these are the things that they need?
Yeah, it's really sad, especially at 7. to be, to start going down with chronic kidney disease. But unfortunately, we're seeing it more and more and more in younger and younger cats. They say that by the age of 15, like at least by the age of 15, you're going to see kidney disease in cats because it is such a chronic epidemic in our kitties. But now, again, going back to the dry food diets, to the way that we, bring them in to our homes, and that we, they don't get access to fresh air. There's, you think about the toxicity in most homes. It wasn't ours too. I was like candles, plug-ins, aerosol sprays, like all detergents, all the cleaners, the bleach, the everything. I used all of it because I'm kind of like OCD about cleaning and stuff. So, and I love the smell of everything, right? So I use it. But my soul cat, everything fresh, everything. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Dirty socks, not so much, right?
Dirty socks, no. Poop, no. But the the cleaners and the fragrances that we use in our homes is just very normal. We're marketed everywhere for this stuff. It's very easy to get. It does smell delicious in your homes, and it makes you feel cleaner. And yet, my soul cat also passed at, was he 7 or was he 5? I think he was 5 years old. And he had asthma, and I had no idea. I had no idea at the time that all those plugins, that all those candles, that all the chemicals that I was using were triggers for all of this. Where really, it's just once you know better, you can do better, which is why we're all doing these things, right? Like why we're dedicating our lives to this is because we just want to get the information out as much as possible so we can help others not make the same mistakes that we did, right? Or decisions that we did. If they know better, they can do better.
Exactly.
And it's just like, it's so hard to do so without overwhelming, and because I feel like I was on the other side of this, years ago, looking at this information and being like, you mean like literally everything in my house is a death trap for my baby? It's like, and it's just like, I can't do all this right now, but it doesn't have to be all right now, and it's just because it just starts to happen once you start that snowball, it becomes bigger and it catches more, and then you start to just all of a sudden you're just catching everything.
Well, it's also really important, I think, and to take a lesson from Evie's dad, 18-year-old dad. Sometimes it feels like the more that we learn, the more guilt we feel for the past, the more blame we place on ourselves. And I think it's so important that, like Jay just said, once we know better, we can do better. And recognizing how much we've learned through the lives of so many of these beautiful beings that have come into our lives is really important. And I think part of honoring them is recognizing that we were doing the best that we could at that time. And it's also really important to not make changes and change everything up or do everything all at once, or even the first baby step, doing it out of fear. I feel like so many of the changes that we've made along our path, I had fear about many of them, right? Like fear about them. And it was something that I couldn't participate in, like feeding raw,
right,
until the fear was removed. So I think it's really important for us as all pet parents to be, if there's something that excites us about learning something new, then that's what we start with. Let our intuition kind of guide baby steps, because there's so much, we live in this information age. There's so much out there. And we want to, when we love someone, we want the best for them.
Right.
So it's going down, what do you think that this would actually, we have to have this on hand and that on hand, and you've got, a pantry full of all these awesome things.
We do.
We really do. But what are the little things that we can be doing and making decisions, I think, out of excitement and out of an intrinsic
and empowerment, out of empowerment, knowing that but like Dr. Katie Woodley says, start with one step, right? It's one step. Do one thing. What's the one thing that you could do this week, this month, today, whatever, to really, make that one decision that can help your pet just a little bit better. Maybe it's not food. Maybe you can't start there, right?
Maybe it's spending 5 minutes of playtime together.
Maybe it's a little bit of a little bit of enrichment. Maybe it's for me with going back to the endocrine disruptors, which is leading to these endocrine disorders in our cats in our homes. I stopped the little plugins, the fragrance. That was my first step. I could not get rid of my candles yet, but I was going to take away one thing, right? And then it was like, well, no more, of that aerosol sprays. Let's stop that too, right? And then, like you said, it kind of snowballs, and you start making more decisions, and you're like, oh, well, now I know that, I can't use my Swiffer wet jet anymore. Okay, I can find something else though, right? I can find something, but slowly but surely, we're at an almost toxic free home now, right? And that's all, we made that decision for our cats, but guess what? It's also helping our health.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to do all of it. It can be most or even some, and it's just like
Baby steps.
what I love that you said was not even, so a lot of people are like, well, where do I got to start? What do I got to get? What do I got to get? But what you said was I took something away. So it could also be removing something that you're doing in your life, which doesn't cost anything.
Right.
It's maybe a little discipline.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as money is spent, we're spending less money, right? We're spending less money by taking away certain things.
I mean, our main cleaner in this whole house
Vinegar.
is water and vinegar. It is so fantastically affordable. It's just awesome. But yeah, it is, I think it is, if people are watching and being like, well, where do we start? What do we do? I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's like, that's like, sit with it for a minute.
Yeah.
What are you excited to do?
Yeah.
Ask your pet. I mean,
Yeah.
not to be weird, but like,
Or-
what's something like looking at life from their perspective as well? What's something that could be awesome?
I think subscribe to this podcast.
Yeah. That's perfect.
There you
Yeah.
Hey, you're definitely going to get some more love in your life if you subscribe to this podcast.
Yeah.
That's all we try to do, spread the love.
Yes. Yeah. And lots more positivity.
Yeah,
there you
it's
go.
true.
Yeah.
And the thing, there was an experiment that was done a long time ago in like the 70s or something, back when the scientists used to do things that were like dangerous, or whatever, things that you wouldn't be able to do today, right? And I believe the experiment was on rabbits, and it was like a bunch of control groups that had rabbits, and they were all told to feed a high-fat diet, which they all pretty much knew what was going to happen, but they all died premature deaths. But one of the control groups lived a lot longer, and I don't know the numbers, but it was quite a bit longer that they lived. And when they asked that scientist what they did differently, the only thing that they did differently, because they still fed it the same diet, was they fed it with love.
Gave it to them, pet them,
So-
loved on them while they're feeding, talked to them. While the other group, they just threw the food in and left.
Yeah.
Right?
So you don't really have to do anything at all except for maybe
Give
multiply what you're giving in time. A little bit more time, a little bit more presence, because truly our mission beyond the mission has always been to heal humanity through healing our pets. When you are with your cat, with your dog, it's impossible to be anything but present.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's so interesting. It's also part of the presentation that we're going to be giving on December 9th, from kibble to carnivore, and we talk about everybody always says like, my grandma passed down this recipe, or my great grandma or something passed down this recipe, and I make it. It just doesn't taste the same way that grandma made it. And what's the one thing that they always say, right? Like, well, grandma made it with love. And we talk about how important it is that when you're making, if you're trying to get your cat onto a better diet, like putting that energy into the food, putting that positivity into into the food will go a long way, believe it or not. Call me woo woo, but it will go a long way in how your cat receives that food as well.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel good, because I know these last few, well, even with our current cat, when I make the food, I guess if I had a kid, I'd make smiley face waffles because I make little hearts out of their little food because I was trying to see which part of the food is she eating, you know. So I was like looking, I'm like, oh, it's a little heart. So it's little heart-shaped foods every
Yeah.
time.
I mean,
I
it
love
matters. It matters a lot. You know, like you were talking about with the fear, if you're feeding from a fearful place, even if it's the right food, that energy is going into the food, you know, and obviously people out here these days are very science based. Everything's intellectual. So when we talk about energies, it's not usually taken very well right away, but these things are real no matter what people want to say, you know, and they've shown it with testing, with science, because they've shown what a positive word can do to a molecule of water.
Yep.
correct.
You
Yes.
imagine what that does. I mean,
What are we made out
like
of?
just yes,
Right. What are our
yes.
cats made out of? Yes.
It really is incredible, and it changes, you know, the frequencies of life when you intentionally do stuff from a place of love, from a place instead of fear, right? And I think, you know, even I know that I wish we could have met Eve, but it also reminds me, Dr. Linda Loudon gave a great presentation at Whole Pet Con, and I believe that she is making this a course that's available or a presentation that's available. She has something called the Awakened Guardian, and it's hitting on all of these things that we're talking about. And she focused though a bit on, you know, we're all so concerned and consumed with longevity. You know, these cats can live to be 30, almost 40 years old, and here they are passing so young. And so we're like, well, what can we do? What can we do? And that actually comes from a place of fear. We want more time. We're worried that they're gonna. And this awakened guardian idea is about being present, and it's about recognizing that we will never know how much time we have, and it's always going to feel like it's not long enough,
Yeah.
no matter how long. So it's about making the most, and not just with brand new supplements and making sure you're up on all the research and doing all the whatever and feeding all the right foods. It's about this genuine presence. There's and that energy that goes into it.
Yeah, you think about like the amount of people. So, you know, we've been doing this as Two Crazy Cat Ladies for 10 years now. And, you know, we've been talking about feeding a better diet and, you know, doing everything you can to switch as much as, you know, as much as possible, at least put some moisture in there, right? Like, and if you can get your cat to fresh food and little baby steps and whatever you can do, then do this too. But we always have those comments that are like, my cats have always lived till 25, 26, 27 years old, and I have fed nothing but kibble, right? And I'm like, when I see those comments, I'm like, man, you must have a lot of love, right? Like you must have the biggest heart, and your cats must live their best life. Right? Yeah. To be able to eat, because everybody has an uncle, you know, like that uncle that smoked and drank and you know, like their whole life and lived to be almost 100 years old or something, right?
Yeah, and vice versa. The one that's the workoutaholic and lives to be and dies at 35 or whatever. Yeah.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So I think, you know, we always say, you know, all of the stuff that we talk about, I do believe is very important, because once we know better, we can do better, and we can give our cats a better life, even if their soul contract is only 7 years or their soul contract is only 12 years, like our Pooh Bear that we lost suddenly. It's, you know, it's still like we want to do the best that we can and let them thrive with the life that they do have, right? But the greatest among these is love.
Yeah, it really is. And it's truly also, it's a mirror. It's a mirrored situation. So like when we're looking at what's happening to our pets, it's the exact same thing that's happening to us on a mass level. And so when people can really start to look into that mirror, then they can start to wake up into their own lives as well. Because we've talked about it, actually, I think this is the third time we've talked about the same thing today. You mentioned longevity. And it's not the person who goes to the gym every day that lives to be 110. It's not the person who doesn't drink. It's not the person who eats the best. It's usually the person who's the least stressed.
And filled with love.
Yep.
And most likely, if you're filled with love, you're probably not that stressed.
Right. Exactly.
It
Yep.
makes such a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, stress is what the leading cause of disease in people and pets.
All of them, yeah. It beats all of them. And it translates to our pets too from us.
Yes,
So if you're
yes.
stressed,
Yep. Yep. It's true. We were just speaking. Actually, we have had, I don't know how many of our own podcasts that we have interviewed with veterinarians recently that have all said the same thing, right? They're talking about mirroring, and the amount of people, or the amount of like cats that they see in their practice, that they can't pinpoint why the cat has A, B, or C. And then they finally turn to the human, to the guardian, and they ask them, what are you, do you have allergies? Do you have pancreas issues? Do you have, and so many times it is the same issue. The human and the animal have the same issue.
I mean,
Wild, isn't it?
we
It's
look like
so
our pets
crazy.
too, right? I mean, you've seen the people who look like their pets. So why wouldn't all that stuff be true as well? It's
Yeah.
just like that truly goes back to the energy as well. Because when you see a pet who is truly loved versus, one that is got the lack of love, it's a very big difference, and you can see it visibly. And that's the same thing in a human. The ones who are in the system, locked away, doing serious crimes, it's all just a lack of love. It's all it is.
Yep.
And if we could all just figure that out.
I know.
I think those are I mean, if we talk, if thinking about this in our journey with our cats, it is incredible, especially, when you find that cat that you don't know what their past was, if they had trauma, if, what their situation was. You can see the incredible difference that love makes, that sense of security, that sense of belonging. And it's an amazing transformation that you see. At the same time, I know that we've been talking about food, and I think that is the second. I mean, I don't want to underscore the importance of just watching when we talk about transitioning our cats to a better diet, there is a transformation that also happens. And I really want people, if they're on the fence about
Should I not?
is this something, well, maybe all I need to do is more love. I would ask that you explore the food thing. Like, really think about it for people. And you can see that transformation in people too, when they go from their fast food all the time to eating fresher foods, eating organic foods, maybe even just eating less, right? And watching that transition, that transformation that happened with Scotch, our very first, the reason that we started feeding raw, was just an incredible reality moment. I mean, it was interesting. It's like you think, oh, this is something that we should be doing. This is something that they do need. They're obligate carnivores. This is what they should be eating. But then you see the difference, the coat, the eyes, the energy. It is a really rewarding, amazing thing to be able to, if it's within our means, if it's within whatever our ability, it's an amazing transformation that happens.
It really is. And going back to stress, like when we're talking about stress in both humans and animals, inflammation brings on stress, right? And I think we talked about this in the last episode too. But
Stress brings on inflammation.
Oh, sorry. No, inflammation. Oh, yes, stress brings on inflammation. But inflammation brings on stress. It's a circle, right? Like, yeah, it is. So if you're eating inflammatory foods, right? If you, like she said, if you're eating fast food all the time, then your stress levels are going to be higher. You're going to be more susceptible to stress. Which is going to then, so yes, I agree that, yes, love is the key. I truly believe. But if we think about their diet and how we could bring down that inflammation, and we could bring down their nutritional stressors by feeding them a species appropriate diet, a diet that they're meant to eat, then we're going to see a happier cat too. That gut brain axis, right? Like, we're going to see a happier cat too.
Exactly. And that gut-brain axis, I mean, I would love for if you could expand on that a little bit, because it's so incredibly important. And I don't think a lot of people understand the reason why we say that nutrition is the foundation of all health is pretty much that right there, the gut-brain axis. Can you embellish on that a little bit?
Yeah, one of the most amazing things that we learned is just, you think about how the microbiome impacts so much, but the microbiome of the gut there are studies showing how much it impacts cat behavior. So when you think about how that relates to the brain, how it impacts the brain, how it impacts behavior, how it impacts reactions, and even when it's unbalanced, those fear responses, it's fascinating. We found that there are more than 30 idiopathic diseases
In cats.
in cats, meaning we don't know what's causing this, right? And some of those are kind of behavioral.
Yeah, and many of them are very common, right? Like cystitis, very common. Feline hyperesthesia, very common, right? Like now, like very common, these issues. And like what really could be a key to it, obviously, they're all of them relate back to stress, right? Like if you look at any of the research that's done on it, or the hypotheses that's done on it, it relates back to stress, which they can't necessarily test, which is why they still say that it's idiopathic, but it's all related to stress, nutritional stressors and environmental stressors, right? So what if our cats ate a species appropriate diet? What if we were not feeding them inflammation? Then would all of these or many of these just heal themselves, or would they possibly just disappear?
And some of those behavioral issues, like really aggressive cats, there are a number of examples of cats that were very aggressive or really shy, just constant hiders. That once they started eating a species appropriate food, their whole behavior changed.
Yep.
So this is that gut brain axis is like I think it's one of those things that we will continue to learn about. How much you think about us as living organisms. It's not just your brain, your heart, your liver, your kidneys. They're not these autonomous things.
They all work together.
Rita Hogan talks about dogs as ecosystems.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it really is, think about what we are doing, whether it is environmental toxins, whether it is inappropriate species inappropriate food. There are lots of things that like Jay said earlier, or you said earlier, maybe one of the first things we do is to take away something. This isn't about busting the budget on getting the best quality pre-made commercial available raw food that's out there. Maybe this is about doing something that helps eliminate the stressors in their lives.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And going back to the mirrored situation, because for us, that's why we share what we share, because when we were able to see our pets get better, and like you said, they're going to feel better when they're getting fed better. I'm a completely different person when I'm eating properly versus what I was eating in 3 years ago versus if I were to go out and eat McDonald's right now, I'm probably not going to be a very nice person. But it's just, if you think that way for us, then it's even more for them, especially considering we're putting things in their body that they can't even biologically process. So it's so important, the nutrition.
Yeah, and I feel like, when it comes to our pets, like they also don't have a choice, right? Like we don't give them a choice. But whatever we give them is what they consume, right? In the wild, what are they going to consume? Are they going to look for the best cooked foods out there? Like are they going to go try to find a bag of kibble somewhere, or are they going to, kill a bird or, a mouse
Exactly.
and eat that, right? What are they going for? That option in our home. So we have to be we as humans do. We can say, I want some Taco Bell, and go out and get it. And we know what that's going to do to, the next 3
morning.
days of our lives in
Exactly.
the bathroom, right? We know that, but we can still make that decision for ourselves. But our cats and dogs don't get that, freedom to make those decisions.
No, it's so true. And I mean, I definitely wanted to touch a little bit on, because you guys have an incredible line of products that are out there, Feline Essentials. For people out there who don't know, go check it out, because I mean, let's see, we got like products across the board, like Catalyst, Pyro Ease, you have like kidney kits. These things are truly amazing. And I guess I'm a little bit like you, Jay, and I'm a super nerd. I'm just like, I research everything, and I was like I always try to find something You guys are so good. Everything you do is so clean and so thought out for these cats. Can you just like give us a little stroll down some of your products and what they do for people out there if they just have no idea? Because some cats they do need some of these extra support things while they transition or just are already sick or pre-existing.
Yeah, so we started our product line with a holistic animal scientist out of Oklahoma, and when we had been working with him in the dog industry, basically, right? And when we came to him, when we decided that we wanted to be the voice for cats, we came to him and said, is there anything that we could make that's specific to cats? And he was like, I am so glad you asked. Turns out he had been rescuing cats. He rescued over 100 cats himself, has this like huge catio in his yard. And he was already making remedies to help. He still has a huge catio, and he still rescues cats. He was already making remedies to help the cats that he just his own, like the cats that he was bringing in to nurse them back to health, to hopefully find them a home or keep them in the awesome catio that he had or has in Oklahoma. So it was kismet that we got to start with this line of products, and he was like, I'm so glad that you want to do this for cats, because nobody else is doing anything that's cat specific as far as like supplements and alternative medicine, if you will. And so we're super excited to be able to have, it is, we have, ours are different from just we have probiotics, but it's not just like, probiotics and, just the like simple stuff. Like, they're a bit more complex and driven specifically towards, ailments. And while many of them are also great proactively, many of them are more towards, helping cats naturally versus, going to the vet and getting drugs.
And one of the things I love about Dr. Campbell with these formulations is that we were able to think about, like for cats, so much in the supplement industry is like, well, this is for dogs and cats, and it's a tablet, and a cat would just need to eat a quarter of it. And it's like, well, first of all, how do you get them to eat a quarter of something that they don't want to eat? So our products, predominantly, we have a few powders, but predominantly are all liquid products. So they're
which
simple,
is tricky, right?
Simple addition into their food, which also brings up the conversation of how important it is that they have at least some moisture-rich food in their diet, and it makes it this fuss-free, non-traumatic way to better support their health.
Yeah. And everything we make is human grade. We actually take our products ourselves. The catalyst specifically.
Yeah.
Mixture of antioxidant and digestive enzymes. I take it every day for lower back pain. It works, it helps to bring down inflammation, helps for a numerous amount of things. But for me specifically, I take it every day because if I go, a certain amount of time without it, then my lower back starts to hurt really bad.
Oh.
So I take it myself, and you find that your fingernails and your hair grow faster, and all the things that you see in your cats too. Yeah, there's some fun side effects.
I find it I find it just incredibly fascinating how much we have in common in so many different ways, but like with our products and stuff too. So that's just incredible what you guys have done, and I really love that you do the moisture part, but also like you said oils, which is even better because cats are incredible at using fats. So they know how to take oils and fats and make energy out of that. That's what their bodies do. So that's also great. But the main reason I wanted to talk about oil is because black cumin seed oil. I want you guys to talk about this a little bit because this is something we've been using for years. And people don't know anything about this, like powerhouse of anti-inflammatory thymoquinone, and just an incredible overall, we use it topically, in our body, everything, and it's incredible for cats. Can you expand on that a little?
It's also a really great anti-parasitic.
Yep.
So we use that in two of our formulas, our Flea X and our Worm X. And it's super powerful. It's probably they're definitely two of the best sellers that we have in our shop, because it's easy to use at home, right? Like a lot of cats, I almost want to say every cat, but I guess not every cat, but almost every cat will deal with intestinal parasites at some point, right? They're going to eat a bug that's infected. They're going to eat, something, right? And we've had our cats deal with, tapeworms, very common, right? Not fun. But the chemical dewormers, like if you actually look at the box, right? Like if you actually read the side effects of those and what it's doing to the entire GI tract, reading any of the studies, what it's doing to the GI tract, it's scary, right? And it's so hard to give to your cats too. So like our Worm X is a lot. It's just something that you can give your cat at home, and it really helps to fight those intestinal parasites. And then our Flea X, very similar, different. But it's a topical, and it's a natural flea killer and deterrent. So it's not just a deterrent. It will actually kill fleas on contact and without being toxic to our cats, right? Like they can still lick it. Yeah, or dogs.
I was going to ask, is it okay for dogs? I mean, we get obviously asked both all the time. So we always want to help people with natural flea repellents and ticks and all that. And so this is something that they could use for dogs and cats, right?
Yeah, dude, it's so much easier to treat a dog with our Flea X than it is a cat, right? Like our dogs aren't usually they're not scared of the spray. But when it comes to cats, we're like, okay, spray it on a wire brush and brush it into their fur,
put it on your
right?
hands and
or put it on your hands and get it in there. But you go at your cat with a spray bottle, and they're gonna be like, no. So
that did not mind it at all.
Funny thing we've done with our cats. I tried for some reason. I have no idea. I actually have this on video. I tried to blow dry my cat one time. That did not go very well. I got like 4 claw marks in my chest.
I'm like, what were you thinking?
Yeah. Our cats don't like. Funny story though. My soul kitty, I used to bathe him. I knew nothing about cats, obviously, at the time. But I used to bathe him. He was an indoor outdoor in Tennessee, and he was good with a bath. And so I would like put him in the bathtub and I would wash him like he was a little dog. You don't do that, right? Like just don't do that. Like cats are fastidious groomers. They can clean themselves unless they medically need a bath. We don't need to bathe our cats, right? But I did that, and I would blow dry him. To get him dry, and he was okay with it. Like I would just hold him in the towel, and I would blow dry him, and he was like, okay. He was such a cool cat, man.
Oh,
but
yeah,
conditioning.
Yeah, but save your life. Don't do that.
Well, our cat now, we do bathe not on a regular, a couple times a year, but
he actually likes water.
He actually will get in the shower with you, because when he was a baby, I did the same thing. I used to bathe him every day because I wanted him to be okay with water. So I was conditioning him in a way to just feel safe with water. Not because I needed him to be able to take a bath. I just wanted him to not be terrified of it. And now he loves it.
I think he was a boat cat, in his past life or something, because when we take him to the ocean and he's on a leash, he wants to go at the ocean and be in the waves. He's an interesting cat.
Awesome. That's amazing.
But no blow dryer.
Your beautiful dog is just so distracting.
She really.
Hey, I love
She's trying to steal the show.
She is. She's doing a very good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
She helped our cat though understand cat inhibition and stuff, because
his bite inhibition, because he didn't have any litter mates, because we rescued him at 2 weeks old. He was so little, we had to
bottle
squeeze
feed
him,
we had to make him potty,
bottle feed him, and then he was 6 months old when we got her, and he was messing us up, to be honest, because he was trying to play but didn't know how to play. And when we got her, they play so much and have so much fun that he learned his bite inhibition, and now he can he actually doesn't kill you.
They rustle like no other though. It's so cool.
That is so precious. What a special little girl.
I love how the universe works that way.
Oh my God.
It really does work in a wonderful way when we can just let it work the way that it needs to and get the hell out of the way. Us human beings are the ones that are kind of just messing it all up. If we could just realize we're better than this, truly, the people out here, you guys stop beating yourselves up. We all make mistakes. Give yourself some self-compassion, love yourself, forgive yourself, and let's just get better about these things, because the only thing that's really suffering are these beautiful babies, and they're trying to teach us a lesson. They're trying to wake us up. So,
Yeah, teach us things that we've actually probably known for thousands of years. So it's not like we didn't know. So just kind of re-remembering, you know.
Reminding us.
Yeah,
Yep, for sure. Yeah, they definitely. We all need a reminder from time to time.
yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
For sure.
Well, I definitely wanted to just remind everybody out there that the two crazy cat ladies here, wonderful as they are, they're doing an amazing show on December 9th on their page about from kibble to carnivore. It's going to be incredible. I'm excited for it. It's going to be completely free on their Facebook channel, on their YouTube. Is there anything else, Jay and Adrian, you want anybody to know out there, or just where to find you guys?
Well, to find us, we're all over social media. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the Two Crazy Cat Ladies with our little cartoon heads. Our website is twocrazycatladies.com. That's TWO crazycatladies.com. And we try to stay as available as possible to everyone. So we have a text message, or we have a text number. We've got email. You can DM us on any of these platforms, and we answer everything every day. So if anybody needs any assistance with their cats, if we don't have the answer, we have now we probably know somebody that does, or we'll figure it out and we'll learn together.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it. This was true. Yeah. What's that?
Bobby, I just want to echo what you said, that I think that we could all just accelerate this growth by giving ourselves some grace.
Yeah.
And forgiveness, and just really putting ourselves in that positive place, doing things with excitement, doing things with love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much for having us.
As wonderfully said. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on again. This was a lot of fun. You guys you make it so easy to understand and just genuinely fun to do. For everybody out there, pay attention and tune into the December 9th live stream. It's going to be super awesome. I mean, like, seriously, if you want to be able to learn how to transition your cat without going absolutely insane, this is going to live stream for you. So tune in and go follow them everywhere online. They're all over. It's some of the best information you're going to find out there. So thanks again, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
We'll see you next Tuesday, right?
Let's do it.